You do hate yourself, you're loyal to an old story. You say you hate yourself. For procrastinating. For overthinking. For staying too long. For not being enough. The voice in your head sounds harsh. Critical. Relentless. But what if that voice isn't hatred? What if it's loyalty? The problem deep dive. There's a pattern you know too well. You make a small mistake. And instantly the story begins. Of course I messed that up. This is why I can't succeed. I always do this. It feels automatic. Like your mind already had the script written. In psychology, this is called a self-schema. A self-schema is a deeply held belief about who you are. It forms early. And once it forms, your brain filters experience through it. If your schema is, I'm not good enough, then your brain scans for proof. This isn't weakness. It's cognitive efficiency. The brain prefers consistency. Even if that consistency hurts you. Reframe, this isn't self-hatred. Pause here. Self-hatred implies rejection of yourself. But what if what you're feeling is actually attachment? Attachment to a familiar narrative. Cognitive science shows that the brain values predictability over happiness. Predictability equals safety. If you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, praise was inconsistent, criticism was frequent, your brain learned a story. Stay small. Don't expect too much. Prepare for disappointment. That story once protected you. It reduced risk. It helped you survive. You don't hate yourself. You're loyal to a strategy that once worked. The psychological mechanism. Let's look at what's happening under the surface. The narrative network. Your default mode network, the system responsible for self-reflection, constructs your internal narrative. It stitches together memories, beliefs, and identity. When something happens, this network asks, does this fit who I think I am? If it does, the memory strengthens the story. If it doesn't, the brain often dismisses it. This is called confirmation bias. You don't notice your strengths as vividly. But mistakes, they fit the story. So they stick. Emotional tagging. The amygdala tags emotionally intense memories. If early experiences were linked with shame or fear, those emotions become embedded in your identity story. Later, when something similar happens, a criticism, a failure, a rejection, the brain doesn't just react to the moment. It reactivates the old network. You're not reacting to today. You're reacting to an archive. Cognitive fusion. In acceptance and commitment therapy, there's a concept called cognitive fusion. It means you are fused with your thoughts. Instead of noticing, I'm having the thought that I'm a failure, you experience, I am a failure. There's no space between you and the story. So the story feels like truth. Why loyalty feels like identity. There's something deeper here. Humans are wired for coherence. Your brain wants your past and present to make sense together. If you suddenly abandoned your old story, your system would feel destabilized. Even painful identities can feel safe because they're familiar. In trauma psychology, this is sometimes called identity preservation. You maintain a consistent self-image, even a negative one, because it keeps the world predictable. So when you criticize yourself, you're not attacking yourself. You're defending continuity. You're staying loyal to the narrative that shaped you. The practical framework, updating the story. You don't erase an old story. You update it. Here's how. Separate observation from identity. The first shift is subtle. Instead of, I'm lazy, try, I avoided that task today. Behavior is specific. Identity is global. Neuroscience shows that when you reframe experiences in specific terms, prefrontal regions activate more strongly. This reduces emotional intensity. You create distance. Distance weakens fusion. Notice the origin. When the harsh voice appears, ask, how old does this sound? Often the tone isn't yours. It echoes teachers, parents, peers. Your nervous system internalized their voices to stay safe. Recognizing the origin reduces its authority. The brain updates threat predictions when context changes. You're not that child anymore. Collect disconfirming evidence. Because of confirmation bias, your brain ignores information that contradicts the story. So you must collect it intentionally. Not affirmations. Evidence. Times you followed through. Times you were kind. Times you were capable. Write them down. Repeated exposure to new evidence reshapes neural pathways. This is neuroplasticity in action. New data weakens old dominance. Practice cognitive diffusion. When the thought appears, I'm not enough. Add 5 words. I'm having the thought that. It sounds simple, but it creates psychological space. Research in ACT shows this reduces emotional attachment to negative beliefs. The story becomes a sentence, not a verdict. Expand the narrative. Instead of replacing the story with its opposite, expand it. Not I'm perfect, but I struggle sometimes and I'm learning. The brain tolerates integration better than contradiction. Expansion feels believable. Believability allows rewiring. Integration, the old book and the new chapter. Imagine your identity as a book. The early chapters were written by experience. Some were painful. Some were protective. You can't tear them out. But you don't have to keep rereading them as the ending. Right now, you may be living as if the book is finished. As if the old chapter defines the whole plot. But neuroplasticity means this. The brain updates through repetition. Each time you respond differently to the old story, you write a new line. At first it feels unnatural. Because you're breaking loyalty. But slowly the new chapter grows longer. And the old one becomes context, not destiny. Quiet, empowering, close. If you feel harsh toward yourself, it doesn't mean you hate who you are. It means your mind is protecting who you were. It learned a story. And it's been repeating it faithfully. But loyalty does not require permanence. You can honor the story that once kept you safe. And still choose to update it. You are not your harshest thought. You are the one hearing it. And the fact that you're listening differently now means the new chapter has already begun.